Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Two Dumb White Guys. Two's all over the place. It's like Too Fast, Too Furious. My name's Paul Davidson.
My name is Scott Norman.
And sadly, Vin Diesel is not with us. Well, he wasn't in Too Fast, Too Furious either, so
also,
it's appropriate.
He's not dead. He's just not physically with us in the studio.
Anyway, so originally we were going to do a show about nothing, but then Mr. Norman was like, no, we need to do the Suggustions Box. The Suggustions Box. We need to get that done. And so I was like, all right, fine. We can
have
do
a
show
pile
about nothing later.
We have a pile of things here. If you want us to do a show about nothing, then comment below and say, do your show about nothing.
It's going to be very boring. It's just going to be me quoting Seinfeld, and I didn't even watch Seinfeld, so.
I don't either. I do know, I mean, I watch, what's the show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
With Jerry Seinfeld, but not his original
Not
show.
Seinfeld, but it is Seinfeld.
I do appreciate a good Seinfeld gif, though, especially
Yes.
if they're the high-quality variety.
We had several of those in our last episode that had lots of fan participation, and I think almost all of the Seinfeld gifs were about you. So
It's appropriate.
yeah, all right.
So what is our first suggestion?
So let's dig right in. I just want to say welcome to all of you who are freshman listeners, by the way, who have really brought the heat as far as these things go. We have a ton of suggestions.
And remember, we have two categories of suggestions. We have a long-term, and we have an answer right now.
Yeah, so the long term would be a Class 2 suggestion. We have actually revisited several Class 2 suggestions. Our episode about the Native Americans was a Class 2 suggestion.
K-pop.
K-pop was a Class 2 suggestion. So you can go back and listen to our previous suggestion episode, and you'll hear lots of Class 2 suggestions that we then have come back and revisited. So if you have a Class 2, feel free to ask it. We might not ask it or answer it immediately. So this one actually comes back. Oh, another Class 2 was memes.
Yes, that was true. Memes is a good one.
Speaking of which,
We will probably have to do another memes episode.
Yeah.
So start acquiring memes about me and Mr. Norman, and eventually
or other teachers,
teachers. Miss Brands loved her meme, so Miss Brands loves the meme. So meme her up. But we'll do that later in the year. So start constructing your meme profile.
So, first question from the box is meme related. It says, "Are y'all big brain or small brain?" Has this infiltrated your classroom yet?
It hasn't infiltrated my classroom, but I have become aware of it thanks to my surfing of Reddit here of late about the big brain time on certain and it's PewDiePie, isn't it? That is the originator of that particular meme.
I would not doubt it. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it just showed up on his meme review and that's when it got big. I'm not sure. But I know that especially the freshmen and sophomores just think it's hilarious. Anytime they get an answer right, they go, big brain, and tap their head. Just a fun fact for you all. Brain size has almost nothing to do with intelligence.
That is true.
Or whales would run the world.
That is true. That big brain meme also kind of reminds me of the black guy that would tap his head, be like, "You gotta." It's very reminiscent of that particular meme too.
That was also a thing early on in my teaching career. That was a big one, and so students would do the little the thing where they hold the finger to their head like that meme, and then they say, "You can't get an F on the homework if you don't turn it in." And my answer was always, that's literally an F.
We have a former student. He graduated by now. Pele. You remember Pele?
Oh yeah.
Everything that Pele ever said,
the myth, the legend.
I always thought that it was one of those like tapping the side of the temple things.
Yes, it's very much so. All right. So Pele, if you're an avid listener, say hey, drop us a comment. We'll give you a shout out again.
All right. How do you feel about teacher? All right.
I like teacher.
Teacher, cool, I guess.
Teacher, be nice. Yes.
Yeah, I like teachers. As a teacher, I would like to like teachers, you know.
Yeah. I like myself. Okay, I'm noticing a trend here. Who has the biggest brain? I don't know.
Who has the biggest brain between me and you? I would give myself the advantage because I'm kind of fatter and bigger size.
Yeah, I don't know. I have kind of like the peanut head thing going, so I don't know if like you measure it this. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
So I'm just giving myself the advantage because of the fatness.
Individual who asked this question, feel free to bring in a tape measure,
and we'll
measure our skull
head.
circumference, and you can do the math.
There you go.
That sounds big brain to me.
All right, you can definitely tell that this is a group of freshmen that have submitted most of these questions. Is Fortnite good or bad? And it has check yes or X.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off saying I have not had experience playing Fortnite. I have seen Fortnite played. I have played PUBG poorly. But I did play PUBG. I made it into like the top 10, I think, actually, on one. I only killed like one other person.
Noob.
But I made it into the top 10, and I was really impressed with myself. The teenager who was showing me this stuff, and I was playing with, who was a kid from the youth group, and he had come to a Christmas party, brought with him a television and a gaming system.
Just to play Fortnite.
Set them up.
Or just to play PUBG.
In my living room, while all of the adults were in the other room hanging out and just talking and stuff, and played PUBG the whole time, all the way past midnight.
Was it the type of thing where the parents showed up and he has all this stuff and he's like, just let him set it up. Come on, we couldn't find a babysitter. Just let him go play this video game. He'll be fine.
You know, what's even funnier about this is like a huge, like, this kid is a giant kid and he's an athlete. Like, I mean, he's a kid that you would expect on this to be involved in games involving other people. Nope. Goes in his own area, plays PUBG the entire time, does not associate with people. So I went in there and talked to him, and he talked me into a round. But no experience with Fortnite, don't know.
So
PUBG, good, I bad at PUBG.
All right. I would say, like, I understand, like, there's, like, the whole meme war between, like, Minecraft and Fortnite, and there's a lot of people who think, oh, Fortnite's not real gaming, that type of thing. That could be a completely different argument. I think Fortnite is good. I think there is an interesting game. There's interesting aspects to it. I do prefer it. I've never actually played, like, hardcore either of them, but I do appreciate the cartoony aspects that Fortnite seems to have, and there seems to be an more interesting universe to explore in the Fortnite universe.
Yeah, Fortnite is more...
And they have weird events that go along with it in the seasons.
It's more Halo-esque. And I like that.
I wouldn't even say Halo-esque. I would actually say more... This is going to sound weird coming out of my mouth, but like World of Warcraft-ish. Because there's like the style of animation makes it more cartoony,
I see.
And so you're allowed to have a lot more freedom of over the topness, and it's not like as real or gritty.
Like the football player skins and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you get to do all kinds of crazy stuff with it, and I appreciate it. That's unique and interesting. In fact, my biggest experience of Fortnite for a while there, whenever I would just be working on stuff, I'd have John Green plays Fortnite as a pacifist, his YouTube series, just running in the background, and the entire purpose of it is John Green tries to win Fortnite by never firing a shot.
That is hilarious.
It gets down to the final two a couple times.
I'm going to have to look this up.
Yeah.
I will say that... So I assume you've read, I almost said Ender's Game, not Ender's Game. What's the one that just came out where there's almost a Matrix-like thing, and they're trying to find the egg?
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
Yes, Ready Player One was my favorite book I read back in, I think, 2012, maybe.
What is
11?
the name of their system in Ready Player One?
The Matrix, I want to say, or something like that.
I don't think
it's not the Matrix, but it's... I want to say Artemis, but Artemis is a character.
Artemis is a character. Anyway, so whatever the system is...
The Oasis.
The Oasis. I feel like Fortnite is the closest we've come to the Oasis, and I feel like it's attempting to make itself closer and closer.
And, I would figure the Oasis had a lot more MMO aspects to it, where the Fortnite doesn't have as much of that, but we are on a step towards that direction.
Yeah, because like you were saying, the things that happen where, like, in season, things, like, just randomly happen, and then they'll have stuff pop up in real life that you can interact with. Like, they'll drop that, what is that weird camel or whatever it is. There's some character, you guys know what I'm talking about, you Fortnite people, and there's that big box that everyone was trying to shoot and then go explode off the side of the box, and then they showed up the cube somewhere in real life, like in Arizona. They just put up a giant Fortnite cube, and people were like, the heck, there's a real one in the desert somewhere. And
they just start hitting it with pickaxes.
So yeah, I guess I don't know if people actually showed up and hit it with pickaxes, but and there's the hamburger thing. Anyway, so you Fortnite people know what I'm talking about, and I
have no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like
I'm not fluent in Fortnite.
I feel like it is the closest that we've come to an Oasis type game where it crosses into reality over and over, and people start experiencing that as a place to go and have conversations and make friends.
Well, and that was already kind of starting with like things like WoW and even Halo back in a long time ago. So this is not a new thing, but we have begun to see it become much more of a mainstream thing, I would possibly say. And there's another question. Are there any other games you prefer to play today?
Okay. I'm not a gamer per se. I tend to play board games. And when I say board games, I don't mean like Monopoly. I mean things like Settlers of Catan, Risk.
I knew you were gonna say Settlers of Catan. I wasn't gonna say anything. I just sat here. I was like, the first game that's gonna come out of Norman's mouth is Settlers of Catan, and I was like, knew it. I called it. I almost wrote it down. I almost thought about like I'm gonna write down this game because I know what he's gonna say.
Well, yeah,
and you've told me about like your ultimate Risk games too.
Oh yes, yeah. So I have done before where I sat in a room. This was as a teenager. Sat in a room with friends, and we had set up a system where at the same time we had Civilization 3 going on the computer, and we all were doing hot seat turn-based gaming on that, and Risk at the same time. So you would finish your turn in Risk, take your turn in Civilization 3, and then go back, and you'd be strategizing both games at the same time. And we would play, like we'd start on a Friday and play through until like noon on Saturday, and eventually just quit. After the Risk game stopped, we'd just be like, all right, we're done.
Personally, like I like video games. I haven't had enough time to play video games like I have in the past, but I do have an epic video game story like that. This was before there was online gaming, so you actually had to be in the same location LANing together on the same network.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Halo, the original Halo. We went out to the Delta Center out here at the Fisher Delta Research Center, and we all got into 2 different rooms, and we played a 16-man capture the flag match that lasted from about 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning. And it got to the point where like we started breaking out like boards and like making up plans and be like, all right, so we're going to try this and do that. And we brought in other people to sub in for each other because it was lasting just so long. But it was the most epic video gaming experience I've ever had. But as of today, I really don't play games as much anymore. Although over the summer, I played Pokemon Blue just because I wanted to see if I could beat the entire game with a Lickitung. I could. I didn't have any other Pokemon. I just had a Lickitung. I taught him Cut. I taught him Surf. I taught him Strength. Beat the game.
That's awesome. So, okay, I just have one more story about this stuff. Because you talked about LANing. So, when I was in high school, the real cool kids, like the kids that were like, we've got this whole thing figured out, learned how to launch games off of thumb drives.
Okay.
In the library.
And so you would go to school, and you're not supposed to have the game at school, but you could upload. Yeah.
Correct. So we're working in the library. We're supposed to be working on a research paper. In real life, we were playing. I don't even remember what the game. I don't remember if it was Halo 1.
Halo 1.
Like, I mean, whatever it's called. Like it was either like the first Halo or one of the first Call of Duty games, whichever. It was one of those first-person shooter games where you can play on LAN against each other. And it'd be like everybody's just going at it, and as the teacher paces up and down the aisle,
you do control.
Then you hear like, oh, because somebody will die because they have to flip back to the other screen, and then somebody shoots them because you can see they're sprinting across and they just stop, and it's because the teacher walked by. Anyway. Fun fact.
Please don't play video games when we're working on papers. All right, you're next. You're the next question.
Oh, okay, yeah. So let's pull out the next
By
question.
the way, thank you, Dr. Smile. That was a good question. In fact, I can say we could possibly put this into a category 2 and revisit video games. And also, we could also debate, are video games art?
Okay.
That's
so video games
possibly.
or just gaming, because like I said, I'm a board gamer, so
you could finally teach me how to play Settlers Catan, and I will not fall asleep this time.
Live on the podcast.
Yes,
all right,
that would be our lowest reviewed podcast.
We won't even put it as a podcast. We'll just put it as a tutorial. This just says, I love you, Norman. I know who you are. I know you hang out in Chrissy's room after school. Stop telling me you love me. Student with long hair that needs to be cut. So that
you could ask that students. One here in a second, because that's more entertaining if you ask. All right. Fine, we'll finally answer this. Where is my dad? I don't know. Okay. Also, will you ever bring a student on the podcast? Probably not, because of the Federal Education Rights Protection Act. FERPA. And so we're not allowed to advertise that you are students here. And I want my graduation present to be on the podcast 2022.
Okay, so first off, 2022, after you graduate, it becomes much more of a possibility.
Yes.
but that doesn't mean we're going to set it up at your graduation so you can walk across the stage and into the booth. What that means is you'll have to do something noteworthy involving the school or community, and then we'll have you on as a guest. So contribute to society, and we'll bring you back.
Bingo. There you go.
All right, so this one is one that Davidson passed me. He wanted me to ask it of him. Why are you so energetic, Mr. Davidson?
Why is Mr. Davidson so energetic? I just love teaching. I believe it or not, even though I seem like a curmudgeon sometimes out in the hallway, I actually do enjoy teaching. I do enjoy watching all of you learn, and so that gets me excited. That gets me pumped up and ready to actually teach and all that fun stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, like there are many Mr. Davidsons. There's a lot of different rhetorical context seniors that I approach, and actually the Mr. Davidson that you see in the classroom is more of a character than anything. I don't act like that all the time, but Mr. Davidson, when he's teaching, acts like that. So you can actually learn and be excited to learn, because I just want y'all to learn. It's so much fun.
This is one of those times where I wish we had cameras.
Oh, you're going to wish we had cameras when we do our special thing at the very end.
Oh, yes, that is true. Although it might be even better left to the imagination.
That is true. All right,
so next question for us
is, I didn't grab one, so I'll grab it real fast. How y'all feel about our basketball team this year? And Mr. Norman was fresh today.
Thank you. I know what student this is. I just feel it.
So which basketball team are we talking about? Both the girls or the boys?
Yeah, I would say I'm feeling like we made a run last year, and I think we got a shot. I mean, we still got student I cannot name, who's hitting shots over the top of people twice his height, We have some pros back from last year, some good experienced players. I think we got a shot. I mean, I think we could do well.
Well, as always, we lost a lot of experience, like key players there, but we just try to reload like we always do, and the main thing we need to do is just go out there, pound the pavement, pound the hardwood, and try to get a win. As for the girls, I do think the girls could be a pretty decent team if they could just get some more people out and actually playing for them.
Yeah, come out and play basketball.
And get some bench depth so those girls that are actually out there on the court can actually get a break every once in a while.
Yeah, so that we have a rotation going. I will say, for both, we have experienced coaches, and we know that as long as you guys listen to those coaches, you got a shot. So listen up, play hard, and yeah, we can do this thing.
Full hearts, full eyes, might lose.
Might win. So I like this question, and I like how it is phrased. How did you two meet your wives?
Our wives?
Yes, as in... I'm not sure if they think we have multiple. I assume what they really mean is, how did I meet my wife and how did you meet your wife?
Yes.
Would you like to start, or would you like me to start on this?
Oh, I can start.
Okay, go for it.
My wife works for the Department of Health and Senior Services in New Madrid County, and she works with the wife of one of my good friends, Jared Brands. She was like, hey, you should meet my husband's friend Paul. We met, we ate Mexican, and yeah, we've been dating ever since. We've been together ever since.
Yeah, they're not dating. They are married now.
Yes.
So,
You're supposed to date your wife, Norman. Gosh.
Okay, we're still still dating.
Gosh.
Sorry, still dating, but also married.
Yes.
He left out the part where she gave him the slums test just to make sure before.
Oh, no. Like, because she works for the state of Missouri, like she was like running background checks on me and being like, what's wrong with this guy? Huh? Late 20s, no kids? Huh? What's wrong? Like, what's going on with him?
That's did she like is that actually possible? Like did she
Yeah, she could run her background check on me.
That's awesome. Oh gosh, my wife could only run my medical history.
She's like, huh? No, none of those diseases. Okay.
Okay. Gosh. Oh man.
Hey, I didn't say. Anyway,
he's talking about smallpox. All right, so
he was vaccinated for measles. Good.
No meningitis. The way that I met my wife is I was actually working. So I worked in college with this group called Campus Crusade for Christ, and we did Bible studies and stuff. And I was doing move-in day, so I was sitting there working the table. And this beautiful young lady came walking in and was like, hey, where do I find my key? Also, can I sign up and be in one of your Bible studies? And I said, yes, you can. And she and her boyfriend came to the first Bible study. And eventually he quit coming and she kept coming and we got married. So I just have to just to clarify, I did not steal her from another guy.
I figured that, but I just found it like, and her boyfriend's there. It's like, oh.
Yeah, so it was,
funny.
I mean, we were not, I was actually dating someone else at the time, and thankfully God steered us away from other people, and we were both single for a little while, and we were...
perfect time.
And we were hanging out, and then we were like, hey, you want to go on a date? Actually, I asked her on a date. Okay.
She asked him on a date. Let's be honest.
I have to, okay, I'm gonna try to make this quick. I tried to be really cutesy when I asked her on a date. I was student teaching at the time, and I had just taught a lesson in my sociology class that I was teaching about dating in society. I thought I was going to be real slick, and I was like, hey, because she's like really academic. She's straight A student always.
I have a feeling where this is going.
So I hand her the paper of my notes and act like I haven't taught it yet, and I say, hey, you want to help me teach this lesson? And I slide across, the dating notes. And she looks at it, and I was like, you could help me by performing a case study. And she looks at it, and she looks back at me, and she goes, I mean, sure, like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, a case study, like we go on a date. And she's like, how would that help the kids? And I was like, okay, Savannah, because that's her name, Savannah. And I was like, I already taught the lesson. I'm just asking you on a date. And she goes, oh, okay. And then you'll tell the kids about it? And I was like, no, I'm just asking you on a date. And finally, she goes, oh yeah, I'd love to go on a date. And I thought for the longest time that she just went on that first date because she felt sorry for me. I found out later from her friends that actually she went sprinting back to her dorm and was like all excited that I had asked her on a date. But anyway, so that's...
Add another thing to my wife's thing, because that was funny, and I feel like I need to throw a funny thing on mine. My wife actually wanted us to meet and walk around Fred's first as our first date. Because she didn't know if I was like a crazy axe murderer person.
I thought she ran a background check.
She did, but she still wasn't sure because those are the ones.
Yeah, maybe you just weren't caught.
Exactly.
You just didn't.
And so she kept on saying like, "Hey, I'm about to get off work. Do you want to go to Fred's?" And I was like, "Why Fred's? Like, just come by my house and we'll go eat Mexican. I'll come by my house, like pick me up, or I'll like drop your car off." That sounded weird, I know. And we'll just go eat Mexican or something. And she finally agreed to do that.
Just FYI, my wife just messaged me, "Are you podcasting?" Yes, I am. I'm telling stories about you, Savannah, when you ever listen to this, if maybe you do. All right, so what's our next question?
All right, this one I feel like I need to field, get into the position to field it, because it is from the seniors, and I just need to go ahead and, it's better off that we just go ahead and answer it.
Okay.
All right, encourage Ms. Brand to change our senior class stuff. Here's the thing. Y'all voted on it, and that's how the votes went. Like, you actually all, except I think 2 of you, so 43 of you all voted, and whichever one was the highest one ended up being the things that were selected for those categories. You even had an opportunity to try to nominate things for it that was on the board for the longest time. So what it is. You could continue to talk to her about that, but in my opinion, y'all voted on it. Wash your hands, move forward, and honestly, no one's really going to remember.
All right.
I don't remember what my class song was. I do remember our class color was green, and our class flower was the cotton boll.
The cotton ball?
Bowl.
The cotton bowl.
BOLL.
Oh. That's still the thing that looks like a cotton ball on cotton, right?
Yes.
Same diff. Sorry, all of you people who actually know about agrarian things, shaking your heads and facepalming. Okay. This is one that actually we kind of misplayed a little bit when we did the Miss Chrissy interview. We forgot the first line, and it said, "This is for everyone," and then it asked about movies.
Yep.
So we're going to revisit this. Sorry, person who asked this question, that we didn't share ours on the Miss Chrissy interview. We came back around to it for this episode. What, Paul, is your favorite your personal favorite movie of 2019 so far?
Well, as I said on the Miss Chrissy podcast, Netflix now releases movies throughout the year. I have actually not seen a movie in the theaters, but I have seen just the stuff that Netflix has released. Mm-hmm. And I would have to say that sadly, the best movie that I have seen in 2019 is Always Be My Maybe, the not as crazy rich Asians movie.
The mildly affluent Asians movie.
Well, one woman is a successful cook, so she is famous, but not crazy rich famous.
I see.
And the other guy is a air conditioner repairman.
Okay, so doing well with his life.
He's doing all right. And yeah, they were like, they grew up as friends together. They drifted apart, and then they came back together. Spoiler alert. And the guy, he plays in a funny band. So that's about it. It was a pleasant. I'm not going to spoil the best part. There is a part of this movie that is magical, and I'm not going to spoil that for you. It is the greatest part of the movie.
I need to go watch this movie now.
Up until the magical part, and then you can be like, all right, I'm done.
So I'll know when the magical part hits.
Yes.
This is another part we need. He is staring across the microphone at me in an almost terrifying way. All right, so personal favorite movie for me of 2019 so far. Oh, I just have to go with the crowd favorite. I broke all the records. Endgame, guys. Endgame was beastly. I loved that movie.
But with that said, on top of that, I honestly feel like my personal favorite movie will probably end up being Spider-Man Far From Home. I just haven't watched it yet.
Especially since it's probably the last Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
In honesty, I really prefer the Spider-Verse.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See,
I like the Spider-Verse.
I think he did so much better as part of the MCU. I much prefer those movies to even the Raimi movies.
I'm talking about the animated movie that came out last December.
I know. I just didn't get into it. Like, I watched it.
Oh, come on.
I loved the pig.
Spider-Pig?
Yeah, Spider-Pig was awesome.
My hands are wet. Don't worry why.
Yeah. Just the whole thing, and how, like,
My name is Peter Porkers.
And he pulls out the hammer. And they're like, what? And he goes, it fits. Like, there's just so many different things that I liked him. Oh, and Spider-Man Noir. Like, that was amusing.
Nicolas Cage. See, that was a good movie. That was 2018, though. So.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was not, I just don't think it lives up to the comic bookiness of the MCU. The massive cankled unicorns, if you listen to those. Anyway. I think it's how it should have ended. Those, if you've ever seen
I haven't watched it yet, so...
No, I mean...
Oh, How It Should Have Ended,
yeah, the YouTube channel. Shout out to that YouTube channel, Hishy, or How It Should Have Ended. I believe they're the ones who call the MCU the massively cankled unicorn.
I could see that.
All right, so what is your favorite movie of all time?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. In fact, on other thought, let's not go to Camelot. It is a silly place.
That whole thing. And
I love that movie so much.
Monty Python movies annoy me, though, because their endings are always just like... it's just like, what just happened?
The ending's not what matters. It's the journey that matters.
I feel like that's a very Monty Python thing, actually.
Yes.
Just even that phrase.
By the way, thank you, Robert Carter, for your graduation gift to me.
Yes. I will say my favorite movie of all time... For a long time, I said it was the first Pirates of the Caribbean, but I feel like the first Pirates of the Caribbean has now been weighed down by all the crappy Pirates of the Caribbeans that have come after it. So go back to the old favorite, The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride?
Yep. Now, if you haven't seen it, watch the movie.
This is not the first time I feel like we've had this conversation.
It's not, because one of our guests, Coach Bullock, actually hated on me hardcore for saying The Princess Bride. He was like, oh, that's some kind of girly, blah, blah. No, watch The Princess Bride. It is a great movie. It is not girly at all. Also, all you need to know is Andre the Giant. Watch the movie.
Andre the Giant.
If your favorite movie of all time is live action, it is.
It is.
Then what is your favorite animated movie of all time?
Technically, Monty Python and the Holy Grail does have some animation in it.
Holy cow!
I know. I had to punch that guy that just tried to break into our booth.
I know. He came in and just got stopped dead cold. He's laying on the floor
while I was just going through talking about Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It's Angotti. Sorry.
No, it was a squirrel. It was a squirrel. It's not Angotti.
Dressed like Angotti.
Dressed like Angotti. He's trying to get his revenge.
Yep, he's coming for you.
All right, I have to think about this. I was looking at my phone because I have like my fave 7 films listed out, and I have no animated films in there. And if I had to guess what my favorite animated film of all time would be, I would probably go with WALL-E.
WALL-E? Mm-hmm. Man.
I like me some WALL-E.
It's kind of depressing, though. I mean, it's
fun, though.
It's like depressing / romantic / which is weird because the romance is between two robots. But anyway, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I'm going to go WALL-E. I like WALL-E.
I'm going to go with, it's hard to pick, but I'm going kind of the trilogy, if that's okay, but mainly focused on the original, How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay. I like that one with Rough and Tough.
Yeah,
the twins,
the twins, and then you got obviously Toothless, and I like it because
I know this isn't a new. This is not from that How to Train Your Dragons thing, but I love the How You Train Your Dragons meme of like Toothless acting dumb.
Oh, where he's like, Mah.
Yeah, and then like the girl dragon, and then the guy behind it.
Yeah, with the thumb up.
And I usually see it on Reddit, and it's like me doing something stupid in class. My teacher, Reddit.
Yeah, it created some quality memes, but I think it's one of the few. Maybe the Pixar films do okay with this as well, but one of the few where there's actual weight to there's consequences to decisions that are made in an animated movie.
You know what? I'm gonna actually no, I'm not gonna change it. Mine's still WALL-E, but I'm gonna give a shout out.
Okay.
And the internet hopefully will explode. Our students will probably explode. Shrek. Shrek is actually. I watched a video by this guy named.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
I watched this a video essay by this guy named Mikey Newman with Movies of Mikey, and he did a analysis of Shrek, and it was interesting because apparently Shrek is just a takedown of Disney, and saying like, look at how Disney tries to hoard all these particular characters, and so we had to come up with this new character, and look at how ugly he is, but he's still awesomer than all these people.
It's interesting, especially if you look at it in context of what the movie was going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, you've heard that whole story,
Chris
right?
Farley was supposed to be
and
Shrek.
it was going to be a much darker movie, and then they got old Armpit Fart King in there as Shrek. And
Chris Farley did die, so...
Well, yes, but that's what I understand that, but I'm saying, like, his replacement was somebody that you just don't do serious with.
Although he was serious in Inglorious B-Words.
I didn't even know he was in that. I have not watched that all the way through.
He plays Winston Churchill. See, that's how good he is. You didn't realize he was Winston Churchill. You're like, what?
Well, I haven't seen the movie all the way through. I've seen like 2 scenes of that movie, and it was enough for me to go, I'm not going to watch this whole movie. Like, I can't take this. But anyway, so there you go. Shout out. Honorable mention Shrek, but the top 2 animated movies for us are WALL-E and How to Train Your Dragon / the HTTR trilogy.
So
HTTD, however the heck that is.
I don't know. We're going to stick to media. I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are on Dukes of Hazzard. The Dukes of Hazzard, those Duke boys.
I think for sure the TV show is better than the movie.
And agreed.
I think that my favorite part of it is that if you watch enough episodes, you realize every chase scene is literally the same footage. It is. Like, go back and watch it. It is the same footage.
They didn't have enough money, man.
Yeah. And so I find that absolutely hilarious. That, like, if you did that now in a TV show, people would roast you alive. But back then, it's like, go for it. Like, every time we watch this show, we watch the same scene as the climax of the episode. Anyway.
I always love it how they always stop with the car in midair, mid-jump, and be like, look like them Duke boys got themselves in another pickle. We'll find out when we come back from break.
And it's, once again, it's the same exact clip. Anyway.
So That's Dukes the Hazzard.
And by the way, individual student that wanted a shout out because your name was on there, no, we cannot shout you out, but we will say we know that your name in class is Prison Mike. All right. So, oh no. I'm going to read it. What is your thought on furries?
We're not going... hey, you do you, man. You do you. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to assume you're just talking about animals, actual animals, that are actually furry, and just say, oh, cute, little fluffy bunnies. All right, we're moving on.
You do you, as long as you're not hurting anybody. All right, Call of Duty or Battlefield? Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 1. So technically Call of Duty 4.
I have more experience with Call of Duty. The experience is usually me running, getting knifed in the toe, and dying.
Not me.
But, yeah.
That's all I did was knife people. I
really?
I didn't shoot anybody. I just would run around and just...
I played with people that got so good at throwing knives. Literally, okay, I watched this happen. Dude throws the knife, guy dies, and respawns on the other side of the map. Something glitched. The knife goes through the little portal and kills him. And I watched it happen, and I was like, I'm done with this game. I don't even understand the physics. I don't understand. I quit. But I still really love Nuketown. So whichever Call of Duty that one's on, I liked Nuketown.
I think it's 4 or Modern Warfare 2.
All right. This one is it's asking us our favorite color combinations, I believe. And this is our final one. So final color combination question, and then we'll move on to not quite a suggestion, but the next thing that we have for you guys. And that is, which one, it says red and black, white and light blue, yellow and brown, or black and purple. Which colors do we prefer? I genuinely don't know why they're asking us this, but I'm going to go white and light blue.
That's the school colors.
Yeah, but it says not school color.
Not school blue.
So okay. I guess like a lighter blue, like that chair over there that I'm pointing at that you guys can't see because
then I'm going to go black and purple.
All right. Black and purple, so like a good bruise.
Yep, like a good bruise. All right, so that's done with suggestions. Now we're going to move on to our special fanfic. Yes, someone wrote a fanfic of me and Mr. Norman. And so we're going to perform said fanfic. If you would like to make more fanfics, we'll gladly do them.
As long as they don't have to be censored.
All right. So do you want me to be the narrator or you to be the narrator?
I'll try narrator because I think you talk more.
Okay.
All right. So,
or I could play you. You be narrator and I'll play me and you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
One cold and gray winter afternoon, in small town USA, Paul and his friend Scott stumbled upon a bowl just sitting in the snow.
Why is there a random bowl in the snow?
Asked Scotty.
Beats me. Some good Chick-fil-A nuggets would go good in that though.
Replied Paul. Then, before their eyes, Chick-fil-A nuggets appeared.
What in taxation without representation?
Scotty said, freaking out. I'm going to make a prediction and say that if we eat those, we will get sick, said Paul.
Scott
ignored Paul and helped himself to the nuggets. The nuggets kept appearing as Scott ate them, which was confusing Paul.
We could just go to Popeyes,
said Paul. But Scott looked at him on all fours and let out a snarl.
Precious,
said Scott. Paul tried to pull Scott off of all fours, but Scott bit his finger. Paul then summoned his Sith powers and started force choking Scott.
Let's go to Popeyes,
demanded Paul. Then Scott used the force to push Paul, then pulled out his... Paul then pulled out his red lightsaber. At the same time, Scott pulled out his blue lightsaber. The sabers then collided. To be continued.
So yes.
There you go. That was our first fan fiction. We have no idea how it ends. I like the fact that I am the good guy.
And yet you're also Gollum.
I'm Gollum and the good guy. I also, did I bite your finger off?
Yes, I'm guessing you bit my finger off.
So at least I have
But I have the Force, so it doesn't.
So do I.
Yeah.
Gollum with the Force is a terrifying thought. Just throwing that out there. So anyway, that was our fan fiction. We cannot say who the student was. Student, you know who you are. And if you liked that fan fiction, feel free to, he left it on a cliffhanger. Pick up where you'd like and move on with the fan fiction. That brings us to our closing.
Yep.
We decided we were going to end with closing rants.
Yes, and I'll actually let you do the rant because my rant dog piles onto your rant.
All right, so this rant, I just about broke the table.
My rant is about people breaking the tables in the ITV room.
Whoops. So this rant begins with the direction of the freshman class. So freshmen, this is directed at you.
And then when I pick it up, it'll be referred to the sophomores.
All right, so we're tag teaming. Here's the rant, guys. You were given a name for a reason. Use it. I know I'm still learning them, but if you don't put them on your papers, the credit goes to the circular file. And the circular file is the round trash can next to my desk. So please make sure you put your name on your paper because otherwise you'll be upset, I'll be upset, your parents will be upset, and the circular file will be full of well-labeled countries and other things that you are mapping.
And to add on, I'm going to require an additional instruction. Put your last name on the paper because the way that your name appears in our grade books is by your last name. And so the first thing that I see is your last name, not your first name. And there's like 17 Emilys, so that makes it even more confusing. So just put your last name on your paper and we're good. We good.
So there you go. Our closing rant. When you write fan fiction and submit it in Paul's class, make sure your last name is also on it.
All right, but I think that will do it for today. Until next time, my name's been Paul Davidson.
And my name is, and Lord willing, will be Scott Norman.
And we've been two
dumb white guys.
Peace out.